that chivalry is dead?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you think chivalry is dead?
Okay, Courtney, you can go first.
Well, a couple weeks ago when I was walking in the hallway, a guy was in front of me and I was walking back at him and he opened the door and he didn't hold the door for me. So I thought that was very rude.
You let it slam in your face?
Well, he wasn't like right in front of me, but like he was a good distance where he could have held the door for me, but he really didn't care, I guess. He has that reputation where, you know, he's known to not have the chivalry attitude anymore.
Keisha, what do you think?
Okay, I kind of had the same experience as her. Like, whenever I'm going for lunch and there are like people in front of me, like guys or whatever, like they just go through. They don't even like hold the door or anything, and it kind of slams in my face.
I also have another thing to say. There's a kid I know very well, and one time we were all going in. You know how the doors are really small going in for lunch or whatever. He just shoved everybody out of the way. He had someone on his back and just shoved everybody out of the way. And I thought that was very rude, like uncalled for.
Alright, do you believe the media is an influence on whether or not chivalry is dead?
Maybe media definitely does have a contribution to the lowering of chivalry, I guess. But also, I think it has to do with family background. My family's always taught me to kind of always respect women, respect each other, even if it's someone you've never met before. Just don't treat them in any negative way. And most families that I know aren't teaching their children to do that. They're kind of avoiding having to talk about these issues, even though there could be minor issues, but they're easily resolved just by telling them to just treat each other with respect.
If you had to say which gender, so men or women, or even both, who do you believe that the death, for lack of a better word, of chivalry is at fault most?
No, women definitely have a definite influence over it. They treat themselves with less respect. So if they can't respect themselves, how do they expect men to respect them? So, for example, in Jersey Shore, they always go to these clubs and stuff, and the men always treat them like complete garbage. But they just kind of flirt back, and it continues off of that. And that's one of the few portrayals in Jersey Shore that's actually accurate to society. Because even in high school, colleges, most women just go to parties and get completely drunk so they can get with guys, and they don't respect their own bodies, and guys just take advantage of that. It's the whole saying, if you can take an inch, why not take a mile? So the more women allow them to approach them closer, the more men are going to take advantage of that, even if it's in a negative way.
Do you believe that you are chivalrous?
Everyone has moments of faults when they don't act accordingly, but I do try to be chivalrous most of the time. I hold doors, I do the basic things, but not only that, I treat women the way I treat everyone else, and that's in a positive way. I don't try to hurt anyone or say anything behind people's backs that might hurt them. I don't spread rumors, and yeah.
So Mrs. Coel, do you think that chivalry is dead?
Yes and no, and I'll tell you why yes and no. I agree that a lot of guys are very immature, and they probably are that way because their parents have never taught them to be gentlemen. Right? Movies today don't teach the children how to be gentlemen. My husband, on the other hand, was in the military for 24 years, sometimes makes me nuts when he is so polite. He still holds the door for me. After 14 years of marriage, I finally got him to stop opening up the door for me, because then I feel like a crippled. See, as you get older, then you think to yourself, he must be treating me because I'm old, and then that drives me nuts. But anyhow, he holds the door. He lets me go walk in front of him. He does not let me walk behind him. If I get an inch behind him, he turns around and he's in. So, yes and no. If they're younger, yes. If they're older, no. and if they definitely were in the military, and ma'am, oh, I love it though.
Do you believe that chivalry is dead?
No, I do not think chivalry is dead. I think there's still a lot of respect between men and women. You might not just see it sometimes. And chivalry goes a long way beyond just holding doors open and who's going to pick up the check when the waiter brings out the bill. It goes to the level of respect between males and females. And while certainly it's not shown in the hallways and in your own personal lives sometimes, I think at the end of the day that most men and women are going to be able to compromise a certain amount of chivalry between the two of them. And I think each person, has their own take on what chivalry is, and every relationship is different. That's what I would say.
I'm not leaving without you.